Allison Rosen. Allison Rosen is your new best friend. Allison, with her the good times never end. Allison Rosen, doing the wavy pencil dance again. Allison Rosen, Allison's your new best friend.
Hey everyone, hi, hello. Welcome to another exciting episode of Allison Rosen is your new best friend. I'm sitting here in the studio with comic, podcast host, author, more things, Moshe Kasher. Hello, welcome back.
Thank you. It's good to be back.
Wonderful to see you.
Good to see you too.
Actually, as we sit here now, it has not yet been released, right?
That's right. It comes out Tuesday. When does this come out?
This comes out Monday.
It comes out tomorrow,
yes,
everybody.
It is called Subculture Vulture.
Look, I have a superior copy.
And I have an inferior copy.
You have the advanced copy, so that means you're on the inside. That means that you're
right.
more of a VIP. Mm-hmm. But this is what the real thing looks like. Look at this. Look at this beautiful thing.
Wonderful.
Two books. I've written two books.
Yeah. I was like, you're holding one book.
No, it's so profound. It feels like two books.
Really? I mean, it feels like. Let me do some quick math. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 6 books.
6 books in one.
Really, because it is about the 6 subcultures you've traveled through to become the integrated person sitting before me.
The
Yes,
whole man. Yes, that I am. Your new best friend.
That's
your
right.
old best friend.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
My old best friend that was
Back.
once new.
Well, what's going on for us is that we used to be best friends, and then we really
grew apart,
as sometimes happens, and it really is discussed in this book. You know, sometimes
our whole thing is in this book.
The magic of a relationship can dwindle, and then sometimes, if you're really lucky, you get your best friend back, and that's how I feel right now.
Did you think that we weren't going to be able to rekindle our friendship at
I
one
was
point?
very nervous on the drive over, I'll be honest. This was a 7-hour drive for me.
Yeah.
And as you know, I live deep in Nevada, in the eastern deserts.
Right.
And the whole time I was just thinking, I hope we can redo this. I hope, do you feel the same?
Yeah.
Am I really dreaming? Or is this journey
Pinch yourself.
an eternal flame?
Oh my God. Close your eyes.
Yeah, I will. Okay, I am.
Close your eyes. Oh, give me your hand, darling.
Give me your hand.
Darling.
Are you allowed to sing this song without license?
I mean, if this goes up and I get one of those like notices, a copyright strike or whatever, because you sang a few bars of the Bangles' Eternal Flame, that would be shocking to me.
Yeah.
But it could, I don't.
It would be cool if you got litigated upon by the Bengals.
Oh my God. Susanna Hoffs.
I mean, come on. I married her. Wait, is that what Natasha looks like? Yeah, right?
Kind of. Yeah. I mean, if she looks like a Bengal, it's that one.
There's another hot rocker. I mean, there's many hot rockers, but I think, is Pat Benatar the one? Go ahead and look up my wife and tell me which one she looks like.
She looks a little bit like Pat Benatar, I
think
suppose.
she might be Hoffian.
Yeah.
But she might be Benatar-esque.
She could be like the love child. I don't know why I had to use such quotes, because I would never say that, I guess. I don't know.
Of Pat Benatar and Susanna Hoffs.
But anyway, Susanna Hoffs, I saw her on, I don't know, TikTok Reels, one of those. She's 65 right now, which is insane because she looks so young.
She looks
Tony Thaxton, hello.
Hi. Yeah, I was going to chime in there anyway.
Did you see that as well?
Well, I've met her in person a couple years ago, and yeah, I was blown away at how good she looked.
Still got it.
Yeah.
And that's what counts. Looking good.
It doesn't not count.
It does not count, particularly in this city in which we live. Oh,
City of Angels?
The City of Angels, City of Dreams, City of Stars, like the movie that I wrote. I wrote the movie
La La Land?
La La Land, yeah.
I love your movie.
Yeah, and I starred in it.
Oh my God, you look so different.
I'm the star of La La Land.
Congrats on getting...
The Oscar nom?
Yeah, but... Is it like a bittersweet for you because people are like, why did you get the nom?
I was stoked that my co-star and the director didn't get nominated.
Oh,
so I don't care about the comparison. I'm happy that at their downfall, and that feels good.
Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
Out for number 1.
That's right.
Do you have an opinion about Barbie? Because I feel like lately I've been encountering a lot of, I'm just going to say it, men.
Okay, then.
Who didn't like the movie.
Okay. I do have an opinion about it, but like a man, I have not seen it.
Oh.
But I do have an opinion about it without.
But by all means, then.
I mean, I'm a white guy. I got to have an opinion on something I don't know anything about.
Yeah.
Okay. Here's my opinion.
Okay.
on Barbie without having seen it. I should really watch it this weekend. I know it's good. In fact, I'm sure I know it's great.
Well, see, that is the men I know who have had negative opinions about it went into it with very high expectations.
Oh, interesting. So maybe I shouldn't say
maybe,
this.
yeah. Tony, I'm asking you next.
Okay, here's what I think. Why am I saying this? I'm trying to promote my book. I think it's great. But I think that it can't be. It feels hard to believe it's as good. Oh, why am I doing this? This feels like a terrible mistake.
Well, who's going to come after you? Greta Gerwig?
Yes.
Okay.
Taylor Swift and Barbie feel like they feel like culturally linked in that they are very good. They are both very good products, but it seems hard to believe that it matches the amount of fervor,
right?
That of how good it is. So I think that it's a ripple in culture. It's a meme. It's more than a movie. It's a part of a broader movement. Movement of broads.
Okay, so I saw Barbie. I took Elliot, who is 6 and was 6 when we went. I enjoyed it. I thought it was clever. I thought it was funny. I liked it a lot. Elliot liked it too. There was a scene where he was. I think he had little tears in his eyes. It's kind of emotional at a certain point. Yeah.
Your son?
Uh-huh.
That's so sweet.
I know, isn't it?
My daughter is a sociopath, and I cannot imagine that she would cry at Barbie. There's no
really?
way. No way. No way.
I need to find out about your sociopathic daughter.
Oh yeah, I got Taylor. I mean, she's not really a sociopath. She's like the sweetest, but she's not sentimental.
Okay.
Yeah, and she does not get swept up by Hollywood. Always, when something happens, she turns and she's like, "That's not real. That's an actor. That's makeup. That it didn't happen." She's like really not taken away by a journey.
Okay, so she has like a lot of media literacy, though.
Well, yeah. Well, she's an influencer. She's what we call in the business a non-consensual influencer. We force her to make TikToks, and it's not yet profitable.
Right.
But
you got to just keep, any day now. Yeah. Any day. So anyway, I liked it. I thought it was fine. Wait, why did I...
What did I think about Barbie as you read?
Yeah, no, I know what I was going to say. So Barbie for me did not cause I didn't have mixed feelings about it. I just liked it.
Yeah.
But Taylor Swift, when I had my strong opinion, which I've since changed a little bit. I hadn't listened to a lot of Taylor Swift or heard a lot of reels. I mean, why do I keep saying reels? When I mean TikToks. How old am I?
I
heard
love
a lot
TikTok. Just so you know,
too.
I just think it's such a cool platform.
Yeah.
I just think it's cool.
I actually enjoy TikTok quite a bit.
I haven't allowed myself to download it because I know that I will. It's like going to a heroin dealer and you're clean and sober and you go, maybe this will be good for me. It's like I know what's there for me,
right? And
it ain't good.
Okay, and by that, are you talking about watching a certain kind of content or just the addiction to the scroll? Oh, yeah, it's good.
I saw a great post. It was like, I'm not a child. I don't look at TikTok. I watch popular TikToks on Instagram Reels a week later like a grown-up.
But anyway, with Taylor Swift, I hadn't listened to a lot of her music. And then when she did her however many shows she did in LA, I was like, oh my God, I'm the only person I know in my peer group and beyond who's not at these shows.
Right.
When did this cultural moment happen and was I unaware of it? That's how I felt about Taylor Swift. It sounds like that's how you're feeling about Barbie and Taylor Swift.
Well, actually, it ties into the book. I'm not doing this as
Please.
But it does.
But even if you were, that's fine.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
But it does tie into the
promote.
book because that's what, in some weird ways, this book is about. Like, what's interesting to me about Taylor Swift is that it's cool to like the most popular artist in the entire world by a fair margin.
Right.
Like, you're cool.
Yes. People actually feel like they're countercultural by liking Taylor Swift.
Exactly. And so the book is really about, I mean, there is two cultures that don't quite apply in this way. One is deafness and one is Hasidic Judaism. These are not scenes in the classic sense. These are worlds that I was born into. Mm-hmm. But a big part of what this book is about is like, at my age anyway, the life, but I'm going to go ahead and expand at our general age.
Yes.
Life used to be this
26, right?
Yeah, 26. At 26, life used to be about this kind of pinball experience of like accidentally finding or stumbling into your worlds, into your experience, into finding your people. Like if you happened to like take up skateboarding, well, then you'd be a graffiti writing, blunt smoking hip hop listener under a bridge, or if you happen to like Tolkien when you were a kid, then you would be doing a bloodletting ceremony in a field. Like it was
You'd
this
be painting spoonteaks.
That's right. It would be this stumbling. It was this kind of beautiful stumbling that used to happen. And then, this book is really about my stumbling journey. And then you get to, not the end, I'm in the middle of it. But then you look back and you go, oh, wow, it was a path. Like it felt like an accidental rolling of the just clanging from wall to wall, but actually it was a path that was leading me to this place. And now, and this is not a like, why are things different? Because things just are always different and you can't stop them from being different. But now, because of the internet, because of TikTok, and because of a lot of other factors, culture has gotten kind of squished into this more, I call it in the book like a monoculture. Like hip hop sound has Ed Sheeran singing a hook, and Nicki Minaj has techno beats, and like basically culture's in your pocket. Like what is cool and what you're supposed to do is kind of more universal. It's not fully universal, but it's more universal. And so you get a thing like Taylor Swift she's the biggest artist in the world by far. And yet it's like, this is counterculture because we're here.
Right.
Where counterculture used to actually be counter to the culture.
Right. So the question then for the Swifties, what is it counterculture against? Like the message that Taylor Swift can't be popular? Us?
No, I mean,
us who are like, what's going on with that?
To give credit to Taylor Swift and what she's doing for, I think it's fair to say, for young women's identities, she's like.
I mean, my therapist had to reschedule because she was going to Taylor Swift, and she's older
okay,
than I am,
so regular, just ladies' identities. Is she's this mega powerful woman that don't take no guff from no man, and she is a boss. She's a goddess, She's like, she represents a kind of goddess, a beauty, but also a power, and so I don't think she's without rhetorical power. I mean, her music is not for me. If I have to go with one of the mega divas of the Gen Z universe.
Let me see if I can guess. First of all, I don't even know if I know all the mega divas.
I don't know them all either.
Tony, do you know the mega divas?
No,
Did you know that Tony's in a rock band?
Oh, I can. It looks right. Yeah,
he
I
plays
can see
drums in a band called Motion City Soundtrack.
I like the first syllable of it a lot.
Oh yeah.
Now that you're on to something.
It actually sounds like Moshe City Soundtrack.
You should change the name, but only
maybe.
very slightly.
Yeah. We'll see how it goes.
Let's see.
Oh yeah, guess my diva.
I want to guess your diva, but first I just want to make sure we're in the right realm of divas.
We're talking modern day.
I'm talking modern day, mega female stars that tweens love.
So it's not going to be like your Celine Dion, your Janet Jackson.
No. My heart will go on.
Billie Eilish is one of them.
Yeah,
right?
she is one of them.
Who else? Who are the other ones?
Good question.
Okay, you got your Billie Eilish,
you got
Olivia
your
Rodrigo.
Yeah, you got your Ariana Grandes, right? You got your.
It's not going to be her.
Wait, is Dua Lipa? That's in the realm of rap, and that's not right.
Yeah,
right?
I was going to ask if we were counting rappers.
I don't think we're counting rappers.
Okay.
I'm talking.
Okay.
It's like of a thing. It's
is
like
Sia one of them?
That's a very interesting question.
Yeah, thank you.
I'm going to say no.
Okay, then it's not her. I'm actually just going to say it's Billie Eilish.
It's Billie Eilish. You nailed it. 100%.
Oh my God.
I think she's great. I think if she wasn't,
she's got a Barbie song.
She's too famous for the kind of music she makes. I think if she was less famous, if she had gone in a different direction, she'd be thought of as like a sort of Kate Bush type.
Right.
Because her music's super interesting. What do you think? You're a musician.
To be fair, I haven't listened to a ton of it. Yeah,
okay.
I hear you.
I mean, listen, I'm not saying
I don't love what I've heard, but I haven't heard much.
I just think she's much more interesting than the pop stars that surround her universe.
Yeah,
Yes.
I get behind that.
Yeah.
So Tony,
Yeah.
the conversation has moved on, but I did say I was going to get your Barbie thoughts,
Oh, yeah.
so I must pay that off for the person who's like, I need to know.
Yes. I saw it. I enjoyed it. I will agree with it was definitely built up a lot, and so I think maybe it didn't quite live up to what I heard, but I did enjoy it though. Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
So
I'm
there
going to
you
watch
go.
it this weekend, so I'm not just talking about something I don't know anything
Yeah.
about. I've listened to Taylor Swift a lot. I mean, a lot is the wrong. I've tried. I've gone down the road.
I kind of got into her because I started with like, I do not get it. And then and I had said it on the show, and a lot of listeners are sort of around our age, 26, and they
Yes.
really like her. And they're like, you got to give it a chance. And I did. And I did find myself beginning to like her more and more.
Well, when people talk about her, it doesn't sound like they're talking about their favorite musician. It sounds like they're talking about Christ.
Yeah.
And that's the part where I'm kind of like...
You gotta give him a chance.
Seriously, your soul depends upon it.
Yeah. Okay, so much to talk about.
Let's do it.
Let's just talk first of all about this lifestyle change you've made lately. I thought you only had small dogs.
Oh, yeah.
And you posted a thing with a big dog.
I stepped it up.
Yeah. Now, am I right that you only had small dogs, or is that just since Natasha?
I've only ever had small dogs my entire life.
Okay.
Yep.
An avowed small dog dude.
For sure. I never wanted a big dog. But then, I don't know if you've been feeling this at all, but the last 5 to 7 years have been a little dicey.
Oh, yeah.
Have you felt any of that diciness
Yeah.
that seems to be surrounding us?
A palpable dice.
There's
diciness in the air.
a roll of the dice.
Yeah.
And so I started to have this fantasy about a dog. Okay, because I wanted a gun, but then I don't want a gun. You know, it's like...
I have the same.
Right.
Unless you're watching, in which case we are armed to the teeth. I mean,
Yeah, that's
not
true.
if you're I don't need everyone watching to know that we're armed to the teeth. I just mean if you mean me harm.
Yeah, there's security here. But I thought, I was like, oh, I should get a gun. And I was like, I don't want a gun. I have a kid and I don't want a gun. I don't want a gun. And then I thought, what about a gun you can pet?
Yeah.
What about a gun you love?
A snuggly gun.
Snuggly gun, a furry gun.
Right.
And I thought, okay, I want a German Shepherd. I want a German Shepherd because when I go, my wife is small. And
Natasha Leggero. For anyone who doesn't know, your tiny wife that looks
my
like
tiny wife.
a love child of Susanna Hoffs.
That's
and
right.
Pat Benatar.
Hoffian. And she's small. She likes to go for walks on her own at dusk in short shorts with a T-shirt on that says, "Take me, I'm yours." No, but, you know, I have anxiety
Right.
about
She
that.
takes her ring off first.
That's right. She puts mistletoe. She has like a little head. Yeah, it's very weird, actually. So I and then I go on the road and I leave my family at home and I got this young daughter and I just was like, oh, it would be nice to just have like a big, beefy man whose DNA is to hunt and bite Jews. I want a German Shepherd. And then Natasha was like, I don't want a German Shepherd. So that was our first issue.
Why did she not want one?
Scared, big old, you know,
She likes
chompers.
little dogs.
She likes little dogs, and German Shepherd's just so masculine, you know. And she was like, "What about a full-size poodle?" I'm like,
A standard poodle.
no one's avoiding, even though I've heard that they can be fierce. No criminal is going away because there's a poodle.
Right.
So she goes, okay, fine. German Shepherd, can we do a mix? I go, no, I can do a mix.
Did you consider like a pit bull, the typical?
Pits are out.
Because you're
Natasha,
afraid of them.
too much anxiety. I don't have anxiety about a pit bull, but she does. So pits were out. We went through every dog breed. A Newfoundland, do you know what those are?
I know they're huge.
They're elephants.
Yeah.
And they love kids, but they don't quite look scary, and they
Okay.
pull you over.
What about like a Mastiff?
Mastiff, pretty cool. Every dog, this is what I've learned. Every dog has a deal breaker. Every one of
yes.
them. Yeah, there's not one where you're like, okay, like the dog that is the ultimate big dog for like coolness, Labrador.
Yeah.
Deal breaker, no one's scared of a Labrador. And
They're like known for being friendly.
nobody cares. I thought about getting a silver Labrador and then docking its ears like a Doberman to try to fool
Right.
a criminal into thinking it's some other. Anyway,
What about a Doberman?
Doberman has a nervous disposition. I like Dobermans, and I thought about that. Just too demonic looking for Natasha.
Okay.
They don't have a sweetness to their face. They really just are demon. Rottweiler. I did walk a Rottweiler named Peanut.
They're huge and sort of
They
scary.
die really quickly.
Oh.
That's their thing. They
How
slobber.
quick?
8 years.
That's not enough.
No, you're gonna have a dead. I mean, and then you go adopt one. It's already 3 or 4.
Right.
You got 3 years.
Yeah, dog's expiring so
That's
fast.
like, yeah. I mean, I've had books I've been reading for 3 years. So
I've been
anyway,
reading Infinite Jest since 1997.
that
real.
feels exactly correct for Infinite Jest.
Yeah.
So then German Shepherd, they got a lot. There's a lot of good to them, and they liked kids, but then they got dysplasia and all this other. Anyway, whatever. So we agreed on a mixed breed German Shepherd, and then we get to the German Shepherd rescue place, and I bring out this one. It's like, would protect our family, and she's like, and then they bring out our dog, and she's like, this one, and this dog is a fucking bitch. I mean, it is so. There's no universe. The only advantage is like if the criminal is looking at our house with binoculars, And he will see a German Shepherd looking dog and go, oh, okay. But if he gets close to this dog, I mean, the dog welcomes any stranger. The dog opens the door and is like, enchanté. But he's so sweet. He's like the sweetest dog in the universe.
And is he full German Shepherd?
He's half German Shepherd, but he looks like a full on
What's his other half?
Australian Shepherd. And do you know what they are?
Like not sort of, not really.
Circus dogs. That is their background.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so my dog's a certified circus dog.
Oh, I saw him in the thing that I commented on. He was like jumping through hoops and stuff.
He learned how to jump through a hoop within 10 seconds. He does not protect our house at all, but he can jump through a hula hoop. And I think that'll scare the criminals away.
Right. They'll be like, who knows what else lurks behind?
I got to tell you, though,
poodles.
Big dog world, it's a new world.
What's it like?
It's something really, it's like having like a third of a lover. It's like he'll come and like spoon me.
Oh.
And like, he's just like he's much more of a presence. He's just like all, there's adventure involved. It's annoying. He chewed up $1,000 pair of glasses like the day we got him. It was literally the most expensive item of anything really that I own. Mm-hmm. And he just was like, that. And
he's like, do you love this? Because I'm going to destroy it.
Yeah, that. But he's cool. He's a cool guy. He's got a GBE.
Don't wait. He's got
strong GBE.
German Shepherd.
B is not Shepherd. He's got.
No, I know. I thought maybe the G was for German Shepherd, and then the B.
German Shepherd.
He's got good boy energy.
That's exactly right. You're 2 for 2.
Oh my God, that was exhilarating.
Strong good boy energy.
But do you feel like he does any sort of form of protection?
Yeah. Okay, I've got the whole statistics worked out. Okay. When you have a scary looking dog, 75, I'm going to say, % of the job of a scary dog is prevention, right? It's like walking around with a gun on your hip. In fact, in my house, I have a Marine Corps Semper Fi sticker on the mailbox because I read online somewhere that's a good way to make people leave you alone. Like NRA, I couldn't go all the way there, but Marine Corps, I put that on there. And then I went on a Reddit, r/Marines, and I was like, hey, fellas, hey, Semper Fi, fellas, is this stolen valor? Do you know what stolen valor is?
I do, but I only learned it recently. But yeah, anyway.
I love a stolen valor video on the internet.
Oh, yeah.
It's just some of the best content out there.
I don't know. I only know the term. What's a stolen valor video?
It's like a real soldier basically going up to a guy in a fake uniform and yelling and screaming at him. What base you go to? Where'd you do basic? Oh, who's your commanding officer? You take that off now. But there's a subgenre of the stolen valor video.
I don't know if I know this.
There's the fake, the false stolen valor video. These are even better. This is the soldier who comes up to the guy and starts screaming at him about his stolen valor. And then the stolen valor guy is like, my basic was in blah, blah, blah. And I served in blah, blah, blah. And then the guy that was the accuser has to run away with his tails between his legs because he was a real soldier. Oh, there's so much good on the internet.
Is there ever a real soldier that confronts a real soldier?
That's what I'm saying.
Oh.
Yeah,
but he has to, I see.
So he comes in all like military Karen. And he's like, you don't belong in that uniform. And the guy's like, God damn, how dare you? I was a member of the fighting forces of George Patton. Mm-hmm. And then the Karen has to run away and he's embarrassed. I on a Schadenfreude level, that's a good genre.
Yeah. Okay. So is Semper Fi stolen valor?
Okay. So the boys told me that they think it's cool. They laughed at me and said that I was half a man, which, that's fair. Yeah. Compared to a Marine,
right.
I'm surprised they gave me half. But then they were like, if it works, I think it's awesome and hilarious. So they said, no, I'm good. I mean, it was not a true sampling of the entire Marine Corps, but I got permission.
It's the ones on Reddit, though.
Yeah, those are the best ones.
Yeah. I feel like I want to get one of those now.
You should. I mean, there's no downside to it. I mean, it might not work. But anyway, that was my point. I put that on there so a criminal comes by, sees that, go, ooh, Marines live here. Keep it moving, right? So I feel 75% of a scary dog is the criminal looks in the window and goes, fuck that, right? And then 22.5% is the dog barking and growling at the person that comes towards you, right? I don't have that. And then 2.5% is the dog attacking your attacker. I mean, when are you really going to need that? Almost never. How many times have you been attacked? I don't want to ask you that. Why did I ask you that? This could bring up trauma.
think none.
None.
Yeah.
So the odds of you actually being attacked and needing the
Right.
dog to bite a person almost infinitesimal.
Okay, so like you met my dog. She was like a stuffed animal. Is she going to help at
No,
all?
0.
So,
Oh, yes, 10%. Bark.
okay. Yeah,
Just
she barks.
doesn't want you to wake up. Because wants to
That's
just
right.
get in, get your
That's
VCR,
what I'm saying.
and
Like,
go.
is a criminal dissuaded by just the presence of a dog that can make noise?
I would say that the criminal is 10% dissuaded. This is, by the way, these statistics, just so
Don't
you
add
know,
up?
they do add up. They add up perfectly, but they are made up.
Okay.
I do not know what I am talking about, but I am a master of human psychology, and I feel like there's something to this.
It's so funny because I assumed that you got these from like our
Slash.
home invasion or something. Which means I knew they weren't real, but I figured you weren't making them up.
No, I mean, I do believe them. I'm not lying. I just am talking
Making
out
them
of my
up, yeah.
ass. So I do think that I got the 70%. I think that if a criminal came to your house, saw your dog, he would try to break in. And then if your dog began barking,
Which she would.
he would maybe, and let's be more generous, he or she. I do think
How
there's
about they?
they would probably leave because they don't want the hassle if you like
Right.
get it coming out. But if they saw mine, I say 75% they're walking the other way because they go, that's a German Shepherd. I don't want in there. But if they met mine, they're coming back and they're going to steal all my stuff and take my family.
And probably take your dog.
Yeah, he would go with them.
Yeah.
He
What's
would
your
own
dog's
a-
name?
Captain.
Captain.
Yeah,
Is that stolen valor?
that's a great question. You know the thing about German Shepherds is they're all named German names. His
I didn't
name's
know
like
that.
Captain Von. Not all, but like if you go to a breeder, every dog is like Streckenfahr von Herkenbauer.
Aren't some of them taught commands in German?
Yes, they're taught commands in German. My plan originally was to name the German Shepherd after a German partisan from World War II, so a Nazi hunter,
Yeah.
to reclaim the German Shepherd for my people. And in the end, nothing stuck, and we just went with the name that the shelter gave us.
Okay.
Captain.
I like that though.
Captain Von Trapp.
Oh, from Sound of Music.
Yeah.
Tough.
Yeah.
Christopher Plummer. It's
Yeah.
tough. So this fear of home invasion that you have though,
Yeah.
is this new? Is this born of something? Is this because you have a family to protect now?
Well, I think that yes, it's all of it. It's new, and it is born out of the chaos of the last few years, just in general.
Oh, the diciness.
Just dicey, right? It just feels like things are less stable, and not that you are at imminent risk of being attacked, but that it would be nice to have a security system now more than ever. So now I've got Captain, which is not a security system.
Right. Have you ever been? Have you been attacked?
I have been attacked many, many times, but that is not because of the chaos of the contemporary era. It's because of the chaos of my youth.
Right. What kind of attacking are we talking about?
I've been jumped. I've been beat up. These are the kind of people I hung out with when I was a kid. I've been beat up many times. Have you ever been in a fight?
Thankfully, no.
You're in a rock band. You must have been in a fight.
No.
Never been in a fight.
No.
See, you got to be in a fight. You got
Has
to.
Natasha?
Yes.
Really?
Yes, she has.
Wait a minute. I actually feel like I vaguely know something about her. I don't know what I know, though. Was
But
it
as
when
a
she was
kid.
very young?
Yeah, it's when you're a kid.
Because she was a mean girl, right?
I think she was a mean girl.
Yeah.
And I think she is a mean
Still.
girl. Yeah. No, she's very sweet. But I think it's good to be punched in the face once.
I get headbutted by my kids all the time
It
accidentally.
doesn't count.
No, okay.
No, it doesn't
It's got to
count.
be like someone.
You can't love the person. I mean, you can love them as a friend. I had a guy once. This is the kind of people I grew up with. This guy, he was always beating people up. And we were drunk one night, and there was this new guy that came and hung around us, and we were all drunk. And my friend went over and was like beating him up. And I ran over to stop it. I go, come on, man, leave him alone. And I like kind of pushed my friend, and my friend turned to me. He goes, "The fuck you touch me for?" And he beat me up. This is my friend. So then I ran off. I started crying. I always started crying when I would get punched. That was the worst
But
part.
what were you, like 14 or something?
14, 15, yeah. I cry. I'm running. I run off, and I'm like holding my black eye. And he comes over, very drunk, and he's like, "I'm sorry, man. I didn't mean to beat you up." And I go, "You're fucking damn right. You're sorry. Why the fuck you do that?" And he goes, "Why the fuck? don't talk to me like that. He beat me up again.
Oh my God.
He beat me up during his apology for beating me up.
That's the terrible apology.
Yes, one of the worst kinds of apologies.
Did you guys become friends again?
We said that was part of the problem of my youth is like my standards, the people I grew up with, the standards that I had were so low. Like if you accepted me, that was enough. You know, I remember there was this kid that we used to hang out with, and this is sort of more stuff that happened in my first book, which leads to the universe of the second, but
Kasher and the Rye,
which is mostly just a tale of my wayward, insane youth.
Right.
And
because you had gone to rehab and gotten sober by the time you were 16?
Just almost 16.
It's crazy.
And that book stops essentially the day I get sober. There's an image at the end of the book where all my friends, we were at a BART station in the Bay Area, and all my friends were like, we're going up to Barclays, this bar that will serve there was some bar that would serve underage kids. I don't know why, but it had a pull-up bar. No, it didn't. But they were like, we're going up there, and I said, and I'd been trying to get sober for months at that point, and in and out of rehab for years, if you can believe it. And I said, I don't think I can go, guys. I think I gotta go. And they all walked one way up the street, and I walked alone. And it was like a visual sort of metaphor for what I was doing. I was going to walk alone into my new life, and that's what I did. And the book ends there. And this book sort of begins at that same time. But anyway, we had this friend Terry, who we used to all hang out with, and we were terrible. We would beat each other up. We would rob each other. You know, it was just an awful group of people. And Terry one day had a party at his house, and like they broke back in through the dog door, and they like robbed his house and like stole all his liquor.
But there was a dog there.
Right, yeah. It was a Cocker Spaniel. Is that what it is? A Cocker Spaniel?
Cavalier King Charles Spaniel, but same.
Yeah. So anyway, then Terry, he stopped hanging out with us. And we were like, Terry's a bitch, dude. What's up with Terry? He's such a soft motherfucker. What a bitch. Like, meanwhile, so for years it was just like Terry couldn't handle it. He couldn't handle the streets. And meanwhile, like Terry was like getting through high school. Then he went to college. Then he became a veterinarian. And like all the other kids that I grew up with, like, you know, went to prison, and some of them are dead. And like, it was just such a funny image of we were so askew that we thought a person with self-respect who's like, you broke into my house? I'm no longer friends with you. Had like some fundamental flaw in his personality because he couldn't hang. So that's the universe I come from.
How did you, because I was struck by these decisions to get sober and the torment of it and all that. I was struck by just how young you were when you were dealing with all of that, but really making what I think are like pretty weighty, mature decisions so young. How did you fall in with that whole crowd? How did that happen? How did
I start the descent? Well, the way that I understand it now in hindsight, and this book is all like hindsight, I would say that's the mega theme of the book is like hindsight, is that I was born into this strange set of circumstances. My parents are deaf, my half-sister, my half-brother, my cousins, aunts, uncles, everybody deaf. I was raised in Oakland with my mother, a deaf single mother on welfare in Oakland public schools in the 80s and late 80s and early 90s, one of the very few white kids in any class I would walk into. And then my dad, when my mom left my dad, like sort of dove into the deep end of Hasidic and ultra-Orthodox Judaism. So I was, 9 months a year in Oakland public schools listening to hip-hop, and then in my summer vacations I'd fly back to New York and put on a slacks and a yarmulke and like cosplay as an extra from Fiddler on the Roof for the summer. And all of these things, and then I had started to display, now maybe it's because of, or maybe, and it was an acrimonious divorce as well. It was like, your father doesn't love you. There was all this kind of like tension.
Oh, she said that, wait, to you. So you were kind of caught in the middle.
Caught in the middle, and all these things, I started to display behavioral issues. And then my mother, who left my father through the power of therapy was my mother's Taylor Swift. Like she worshipped it. And and in the first book I described this process where like my mom would be telling me something like the sky is green, and I'd say, Mom, the sky's not green, the sky's blue. She said, no way, it's green. And then we'd go to therapy that week, and I'd say, my mom says that the sky's green, I think it's blue. And the therapist would go, B, it's blue. And my mom would go, okay, it's blue. That's how much she believed in therapy.
You guys were in family therapy.
We were in family therapy, and as I started to display these behavioral issues, she started to shunt me down this path of therapy. So I started therapy when I was 4 years old. By the time I was like, 8.
That's when you were displaying behavioral issues?
According to her, I'm not a reliable narrator she says, and I guess I kind of believe her, that I was starting to act out.
Okay.
And so I guess
that's believable.
Yeah, and I got sent down that path. Then by the time I was in 6th grade, I was in special ed because that was another path. I had educational issues, and my mom would shunt me down that path.
And you were tested a lot for like learning disabilities, different things, right? What did they find? What did they say was your situation?
I was diagnosed with oppositional defiant disorder, conduct disorder, acute depression, ADHD, visual spatial learning disability, and white boy that thinks he's black disorder. So those were the official diagnoses.
Okay.
So all of a sudden I start to become pathologized, right? I'm down this path. I'm in therapy all the time. I'm now getting sent to special ed. I begin to become pathologized. And then I've got these weird parents with the weird voice that I'm ashamed of, but I also am proud of them. And then I've got this weird religious thing, and then this racial identity, all this stuff. And then I found the kids at the back of the school that were like, "Oh, are you a broken toy? Like, meet us at the back of the portables. That's where all the broken toys hang out." And we got high. And
portables, are those the like?
Oh, the
portables,
the little classrooms that weren't connected to the building. Yeah, what do they call them in LA? Aren't they called portables?
I've never heard it called that, but I can't remember.
I don't remember what they were called. Yeah,
well,
I know what you mean, though.
Yeah. So anyway, we got high, and I felt nothing. I felt none of the difference. I felt none of that acute difference. I felt.
Right.
But the problem, of course, of getting high and having that be the only medicine that makes you feel okay ever is that you're 12 years old. It's like you don't have a thing that goes like, "No, take it easy." We're going to go slow. I didn't have Terry brain, So by the time I was, 14, I was completely out of control, getting high every day, getting arrested all the time, getting into fight. Was
your mom aware of it?
My mom had like literally a week of I remember when I first started getting high, I'd be like, can I stay out till 1 a.m? My mom would be like, okay. And then like a week later, it was like, oh, wait, I see what this is. No. And then she started sending me to rehab. And then rehab became a part of the backbone of my world. And anyway, pathology, and then sliding down the slide of teenage drug addiction or whatever it is that actually is. So that by the time I was 15, almost 16, I'd been, like I said, in and out of a mental hospital, in and out of 3 rehabs, arrested. I was on like a first name basis with the local beat cop in Oakland. I mean, it just sucked. And I had this realization because my thing was like, my problem was adults. It was just like if everybody would leave me the fuck alone.
Oppositional defiant disorder.
Exactly.
Which I don't think they use that term anymore.
Do they not?
I don't know. I haven't heard. To me, it just sounds like kid who's dealing with stuff. Like, is it truly a disorder? I would doubt it's in like the DSM, but I don't know.
I looked up, by the way. Oh, I remember a quote. It's in the first book from my psychological assessment. On his way to becoming a first-class sociopath. That was a quote that I read.
First class?
But I read, first class, baby. Only.
Yeah, that's weird.
But I got to read it.
Right.
And it started to become like this self-reinforcing narrative that was.
Yeah.
It really drugged me down, and I started.
It's not what you needed.
No thanks.
Miss me with that.
I started to feel. Okay, so I had this thing where it's like, actually, none of this is true. What is
knew
true?
That.
Well, I believed that.
Good.
I had this like obsession that like because here's the thing about my circumstances. My brother had the same ones.
Okay.
He's from the same family. All the things are true with him. Straight A student, never had a problem. He's just smart and had it together. And he wasn't a square. He was just like not out of control. He used to say to me like, "Why are you always getting in trouble? Like you just always get busted. Just be smart. Do like me, and then you won't get busted." I go, "You don't even know. I don't get busted that often for the amount of shit I'm doing. My hit rate is pretty high. I'm like, I just do
you
shit.
Don't understand. I'm a first class sociopath.
Yeah, you would be shocked at how often I get away with stuff. So anyway, then I was like, oh, it's all adults. It's all adults. That's the problem. The adults are the problem.
Right.
And then I started to realize like that can't be that everybody else is the problem, and
that's really insightful at whatever you were, 6 or whatever.
It's like, I was 6. It was a blessing. It was like a gift from the rationality gods.
Yeah.
It did feel like that. It felt like I got touched because, when you are in recovery, you start to realize like there's no ethical difference between me and the person that died of an overdose after. There's no like, I'm not better. I maybe did more things to get better, but I didn't. It's luck. I mean, either it's God, and that's a terrible God who's like, it's like a bouncer at Studio 54. You come, you overdose. Or it's luck, or it's a confluence of randomness. So anyway, yeah. So I realized like it can't be that it's everybody else. It was a really, and I'm going nowhere. I am on the path to becoming a loser. I like knew that all of a sudden. Like I had flunked 9th grade for the 3rd time, and I go,
how old were you at that point?
This is like 16.
Okay.
This is almost 16.
So you were like now older than all the kids?
Or maybe my third time.
Or were you doing it from rehab?
Maybe my 3rd flunk. Yes, I was. Well, it wasn't like that. I mean, I make a joke about it. I go, it's like cool because you get to be like the cool older senior with a beard and a Camaro. But the truth is, it wasn't. My education was so wild. And at the end of 8th grade, I went to this severely emotionally disturbed school, which is the darkest place I've ever been in my life. It's like a school, but it's got a padded cell, and if you talk out of class, you had to put your face up against like the wall for 10 minutes. It was just psychotic. And then I got out of that. And I dropped out of school, and I flunked, and then I went back to school to another kind of school, and then I flunked, and then I was in continuation school, and anyway, this is all first book stuff, chaos, just chaos, and I realized one day like, okay, I'm on my way to becoming a loser. It can't be that it's everybody else. It's got to be me. I'm the through line. So let me just get sober. It's got to be the drugs. So let me get sober, and then that's when the really scary part began, because then I would the next day, like I remember I went to my drug dealer's house and I like paid him off what I owed him, and I bought my last bag, and I told him like, I'm done, man.
Of what were you buying?
It's just pot, right? I hate this question because no, it's not you. It's that every time, and this is a part of what I discuss in the book, is that every time someone asks me that, I feel like what they want it to be heroin. And I
would have liked it. Yeah.
I want it to be heroin.
Meth would be okay.
I did
PCP?
meth, but it was mostly, my drugs were mostly drinking, smoking pot, and dropping acid.
You were also very young.
I was very young, but what I'm saying is I had this, I was a wild kid, and I got high every day, and we did acid every other day, and I got street cred, okay, and we used to crush up our psychiatric drugs and snort them and blah, blah, blah. Okay. But the reality is, like, when I was younger, I would go, I got sober at 15. I've been sober 5 years. I thought that was so cool. And then 10 years, I thought that was really cool. And then at about 15 years, when I was 30, it started to get weird. It started to feel weird when people would ask me that question. Because it's like, what am I mean, I'm skipping a big part, but I was like, I was an alcoholic, a drug addict, or was I? Or was I like a 15-year-old who had all these circumstances that were, and maybe is there a difference between a drug addict and alcoholic and a person that's dealing with their circumstances? It started to become this existential spring in my mind that like sprung when I got to a certain age, and I started to think, do I belong in? Am I the thing that I thought that I was? Am I the thing that the story I've been telling about myself for the last 15, 20 years? Is that true? Or have I never re-examined it? The only examination I ever did was as a 15-year-old looking at it and going, but anyway, I'm getting ahead of myself. I decided, I went to my drug dealer, paid him, got the bag, got high with him, and I go, I'm done, man. I'm out the game. I'm go where Terry is. And then the next day when I went to his house to buy some more pot, he was like, what are you doing here, man? He's like, you said yesterday you quit and you're back. He's like, you got a problem.
Your dealer.
My drug dealer did an intervention on me. So that's like time to get help zone. So I did. That went on for months, and I would say no more, and then I would drink again, or say no more, and then I would get high again. And then I finally was like, oh, wow, this is actually scarier than I thought, because I know the solution. The solution is to stop. I know the problem. The problem is me and the drinking and the getting high, and I don't have any power to affect the solution. That's when I went to AA for first time for real, but I'd already been in AA because I'd been in rehab. So in a way, I was really lucky that my mom was so on top of me, because the moment that I wanted to get help, I already kind of had been there.
Right.
And I walked in and I asked for help. I raised my hand and I said, like, I need help, and I don't know, I can't keep living like this, but I can't stop the way I'm living, and I just need help, and I just don't know what to do, and please help. And then I got up and I walked out of the room, which is like, very teenage drug addict kind of cry for help. It's like, I need help, but I'm fucking out of here. I'll be in the hallway.
It's like that. You
see Doug?
Yes.
I'm Doug.
out of here.
Yeah, I'm Doug and I'm out of here. Yeah, it was motion. I was out of there. And this guy followed me outside and he put his arms around me. And I should say, when I walk into the room, it's the Monday Night Young People's meeting in Oakland, California. It's the young people's meeting. I'm the youngest person by a decade. And that was true for me for a decade. I was the mascot. I was always the youngest person in the room, even at a young people's meeting. And
you're their Mikey.
I was their Mikey, though. And they would treat me like Mikey. I mean, no. Okay, this is true and not true. The thing is, this guy followed me outside after I cried for help, and he put his arms around me, just a stranger, and he said, "It's going to be okay." Now, as helpful advice goes, I think we can all agree it's going to be okay. Not super high level, right?
Kind of garden variety.
I would say it's sort of the first thing you learn when you maybe say it's going to be okay. But it was like enough. It was like he just hugged me. Maybe I just needed a hug. He just said it's going to be okay. He hugged me, and it was enough to get me to go back in the room and sit back down and start to listen. And I looked around. I realized, oh my God, my problem is adults. This is all fucking adults. These were like old people. These were like 25-year-olds. Like, they were gross. But I just stuck around. I would just go to meetings and I would like try to soak it up, and I would listen to what because the thing about adults was they would always tell me what to do. And I was like, the problem is they're telling me what to do. And the cool thing about AA, at least at the beginning, was it didn't quite seem like anybody was telling me what to do. They were like kind of more telling me what they did.
Right.
And I was like, well, they sound like me a little bit. That guy with the swastika tattoo, he seems just like me. And it just got me in the door long enough to start racking together days. That idea of one day at a time is like, it's, as I say in the book, is like, it's the kind of advice I hate, because it's so simplistic, it becomes it's condescending.
Right.
It's like, I know what you're doing here. You're saying one day at a time, but you don't mean one day at a time. You mean one day at a time for the rest of time, give up on ever having a good time. I get what's going on here. But there's like this deep, crazy power in one day at a time, which is like, people would say, can you stay sober till you go to bed tonight? And I go, yeah, dude, I can do that. That's not the fucking problem. The problem is I can't stay sober like after that. And they go, well, don't worry about after that. They go, get high tomorrow. I go, what? You can get high tomorrow? This place rules. So then I do that. I just be like, don't drink until you go to bed tonight. And then I go to bed, and then I wake up. I'll be like, fuck yeah, so let's get high. And then I'd be like, oh no, wait, it's today. No. And I have to start the thing over and start to rack up these things. And then one day became a week became a month became a year, and my head started to lift. I guess I've been talking for a long time.
No, it's. I have a question. So now looking back, do you think that it's? Where have you landed on the like, was I just 15, or did I have an allergy of the soul, or whatever the terminology is?
So that's like a big part of the journey that I discussed in this. It's like the minute that my head popped up and I started to connect with what happened in AA and start to do the actual work of AA. A line I like in the book is I say the work, as they would call it if AA was filled with vapid actors, which it is, so they do. But so at that moment, I was like aflame with the reality that I was an alcoholic. I knew it to my core of my core. I was that. I had all these problems surrounding me, and all these diagnoses, and none of the medication that I was on and none of the therapy I went to ever helped a bit. And then I went to AA and I worked the steps and I got better. That means this is proof that I had undiagnosed alcoholism. And once I started to treat my alcoholism, I got better and I was better. That proves that I'm an alcoholic. And I was like, evangelical, I was like on fire for many, many years. Then at about like maybe 30, I started to have this little weird niggling doubt, which is like, but how do you know any of it. Like it was just this weird like thing that I couldn't control. It was really scary. It was a very scary process that I go through in the book, which is this like little feeling of doubt. Like, am I positive now as an adult? What about me is the same for when I was 15, other than my permanent state of alcoholism? Literally nothing. It's like a different organism that I think about. But then there's this other messaging that goes like, you're once you're an alcoholic, you're always an alcoholic. If you can't become a cucumber, once you're a pickle, hun, or whatever. Like that's sort of that kind of thought conditioning is in there. Right. Never drink again. For us to drink is to die. And for you to leave AA is to drink again. And this whole thing. And it took me a lot of years of grappling with that. I describe it as this section, this part of my life, as waking up one day and realizing that you don't love your wife.
Yeah.
And you're like, no. Or even a better analogy is waking up one day and realizing you're a church elder and you don't know if you believe anymore. And you go, if I leave, everything's gone. My family's gone. My partner's gone. My system of belief is gone. My friends are gone. What do I do? Like, and how long can you live in that? What do I do here? Do I stay and fake it for the rest of my life because this is safe? Or do I start to confront the questions that I have? So in the end, I don't know if I am an alcoholic. I know I used to know. I no longer can answer that. I don't really think I know what alcoholism is. Right. I don't really know if I fully believe in the conception of alcoholism that AA outlines. A big part of AA's outline is calling back to this Dr. William Silkworth, who was like the head of the town's hospital in 1935. And I used to read the book with people and go, Dr. Silkworth, an expert, the number one expert on alcoholism. And then it's like 20 years later, I go, in 1935, he was the expert of one hospital in 1935. Like, I don't know that this is medically sound.
But isn't it enough that you wanted to stop using and couldn't?
Oh, to prove to me that I'm an alcoholic.
I guess, well, but I actually wasn't taking it that far. I was taking it like, yeah, I mean, I guess your question is like a binary question, like, am I this or am I not?
Well, here's the thing, and I want to say this, like, because this is important. This was the section of the book that I had the most anxiety about writing, because I thought, in a way, and maybe I know I'm overstating my value in the world, but it felt dangerous. My process, I didn't like talking to other people
because
in
you don't
recovery.
want to dissuade someone.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah.
Listen, this is true. People that leave AA are more likely to drink again.
Are you making these statistics up? Just kidding.
No, but I am making this one up, but this one is
true,
anecdotal. Yeah. I've seen it. Anecdotal in a good way. I mean, I've literally seen it. If you leave AA, if you're in AA and you go, I mean, it makes sense. If your primary thing is that you are in recovery and your primary ethic is I'm a sober guy and that's what I'm going to be. I'm a sober woman. That's what I'm going to be. And then you take that ethic out, then yeah, the odds of you drinking again go up. And if you drink again and you had substance abuse problems in your past, the odds of you rehabituating are astronomical. That's for sure. That's true for me as well. So that is all true, right? If you stop going to AA, your odds of drinking go up. If you used to habituate, your odds of having a very terrible result if you drink again are higher, much higher than they are if you're a person that's never had addiction issues. If you saw the bag of vape juice I had 3 years ago, you would say, I think maybe you still have a problem. And so the question really becomes like, what am I going to do here? Am I going to continue to, like, I guess what I'm saying is, I didn't write this book to tell in any way people that AA is bullshit, because I actually don't know. I don't think that it is. I don't think AA is wrong or right. It's still the fundamentals of how I live my life. I still, truly a lot of the principles that I walk around the world with are things that I learned in AA, and I still believe that abstinence is by far the safest, and permanent abstinence is by far the safest path for a person who ever had substance abuse problems. I do not look back and think those weren't substance abuse problems.
Right.
I know they were. I know that I had a substance abuse disorder. I just don't know any longer what that means about the permanent state of being that I am currently in. I'm still sober, and I've been sober 29 years. So I'm not.
Yeah, you're not. Are you tempted? Like, did this realization make you more inclined to test it?
I am not tempted in that I do not feel a craving to go back to it. There is no, this is, I guess, my dilemma. There is no back to it. That's not me anymore.
Yeah.
Or maybe it is. AA in some ways would say it is, that I have like a little demon inside. They used to say your disease, while you're in the meeting, your disease is out in the hallway doing push-ups. You know, like maybe it is doing push-ups. I don't know. You know, and they would tell you never to leave, don't stop going to meetings because you'll become what they call a dry drunk, and you'll be miserable. But I'm not miserable. But that wasn't true for me. At a certain point, I had to give myself permission because I would have this anxiety. Because this is really the problem. I was a fundamentalist, as opposed to my relationship with Judaism, where I have just a really buffet style. You know, it's like somebody said the other day, "Eat the fish, not the bones," which I love. Right?
Yeah.
I used to say, "Take what you want and leave the rest." I used to say, because I was an AA speaker that would get flown around the world, and because I was good, it was pre-comedy, so I was like working on that skill, and I got sober young, so I had an interesting story. And I used to say, one of my like rhetorical polemics was, they say, "Take what you want and leave the rest." I don't think that's good advice, because the thing that you leave might have been the thing that would have saved your life, right? So that was the level. That's the level.
Fervor.
That's fervor. And the problem with fundamentalism, it's really good when you're in the middle of it. It feels fucking great. Because you're
absolute and you have certainty, right?
You know everything.
Yeah.
Right? The problem with fundamentalism is if anything ever becomes untrue, then the whole thing becomes possible that it's untrue. It's like fundamentalism means you believe in the whole thing. And at a certain point, my journey in sobriety took me to this place where I started questioning things. And it was a positive journey, but it just unraveled the whole, like the holistic nature of the belief system I had.
Yeah. I mean, I would, again, not an expert in these things, but I feel like I know some stuff. In the same way that when you said that you read that quote about how you're on your way to being a first-class sociopath, and I was like, how can that be diagnosed at that age?
Right.
I also think, how can like true alcoholism be diagnosed at that age? But it sounds as if there's no question that you have addiction, had well, that's the question, had/have.
That's exactly the question.
Yeah.
And
you needed it then.
I 100% needed it then. There's no part of me that doesn't think AA saved my life and that I'd be dead or in prison, or just worse of all, just like a failure, just a loser, just an old loser that didn't do anything but drink and get high with my life.
Right.
That's a sad reality. There's no question AA saved my life and did that for me. There's also no question that it gave me a superior version of life. It's not just that it saved me.
Right.
It also like gave me these building blocks for like my own personal journey of integration, as you described it in the beginning. That's all real. And this is not an anti-AA book at all. It is in many ways a love letter, but in some ways a Dear John letter. Like it's a sad kind of like goodbye, because I miss that feeling of being
The certainty.
I miss the certainty, but I miss the camaraderie. I miss, AA is very powerful medicine. You go to these meetings and there's people with tattoos and piercings that are talking about their feelings and feeling vulnerable and ashamed. And then they pray and they meditate and they love each other in this really fierce way. It's a beautiful program, but it's got warts that people don't feel comfortable discussing from the inside. As I say in the book, like you would be, by the end, when I started to go, I don't know for sure if I want to go to meetings anymore. You would be more welcomed at an AA meeting. This is anecdotal also, but it's true. You would be more welcomed at an AA meeting standing up and saying, "Hello, I'm going to get high in the bathroom now," than you would saying, "Hey, I've been sober a long time and I'm thinking about stopping going because I'm not sure I'm getting what I need out of it anymore." Right?
Right, because they're ready to tackle the person, who, not literally, but the person who, or maybe literally, who wants to get high in the bathroom. They're like, we are good at that.
Yes, we know this. We know this. That thing is scary, right? So they say that thing to drink is to die. Like that's simple. AA is in the life-saving business, and that's simple. Don't drink, you will not die of alcohol overdose. You will not die of a fentanyl overdose if you don't get high. It's very easy.
Well, this is a dumb analogy, but I think it fits.
Yeah.
Birth control pills. I don't know if I haven't been on them in many years. But back when I first went on them, it was like triphasal is what they called it. So there was like a different level of hormones for each week. And then they have one set of dummy pills which have no hormones in them, and then you get your period during that time.
Right.
And I remember the advice is take them. Take the dummy pills so that you're taking one every day. And I remember thinking, that's dumb though. I mean, like, I don't need to take, like, this is a sugar pill or it's a nothing. Like, it's cellulose. Like, why do I have to take it? And then I like fucked up. Nothing bad happened. But like, I realized, oh, I'm actually not smart enough to keep track of this. And I feel like it's kind of the same advice. Like, you could risk it if you want. You could stop going to meetings, but the safer thing is just keep going.
Yes.
Just take it every day.
Yeah.
Don't risk it.
And that safety mechanism is the reason I'm still sober. Like, in my life, the next section in the book, I know we're probably not going to have time to do them all, but the next section of the book is the rave scene, where I became this is just as big of a monumental discovery as AA was, but in a very different way. And and I did that for years. I was a rave promoter and a DJ and eventually an ecstasy dealer, but that's a complicated story.
And that was after you were sober?
That was about 8 months sober. I went to my first rave. And Burning Man, I've been going since 1996, and I used to work there. This last year was my 24th time going. Wow. That universe, and not just like the party scene, but I've studied psychedelics a lot. I did an episode of my Comedy Central show on psychedelics. I've worked with the people at MAPS, the Multidisciplinary Association for Psychedelic Studies, that do these MDMA treatments of PTSD adult soldiers and blah, blah, blah. The point of all this is I believe in psychedelics, and I would like to have an adult experience of psychedelics where I do it in a meaningful way with a guide, and it feels like it would be medicinal for me and I would like it. I have not done it because of the risk assessment situation. Right. Like, that is the thing that it is not like, I don't know, AA stuff. Well, maybe it is. Maybe it's conditioning. But like, I don't go there because it feels like once I'm past that radioactive sort of electric third rail, I'm in a different universe. And I don't know if that universe is safe for me. And a lot of that feeling is because of stuff that I got conditioned with when I was really young.
Yeah. So tell me about, let's just for the people listening, watching, what are the different subcultures?
Oh, okay. AA and the 12 steps. Should I go over that again? Just kidding.
Wait, did you have a drinking problem?
The raves, which was the second scene chronologically. Well, actually, the first two scenes chronologically: deafness and American Sign Language. My first language is ASL. My whole family is deaf. Hasidic Judaism and Judaism, which we discussed. My father got kind of born again, and I would do half my year, my summers doing that. And then raves led to Burning Man. I heard about a rave in the desert, and that was enough for me to pack a car and drive 6 hours into the desert to see what was waiting for me. And it was not a rave. It was something much more dangerous, much more hilarious, and much more wild. And it lasted longer than the raves, actually. I'm still doing that. And then, of course, the thing that gave me the cultural cachet to be able to write a book in the first place, stand-up. So each of the segments gets a historical rundown, a comedic historical rundown, and then I enter the narrative, and it becomes about my time in that world.
How did you decide to structure it this way?
Well, I knew that I wanted to write another book. I knew that I didn't want to write another traditional memoir. Like, I wanted to do something that was more conceptual. I liked David Foster Wallace is Infinite Jest Guy, right? Yeah. I read an essay. I think it was The Lobster one. Consider The Lobster. And I really liked his footnote thing. I thought that'd be kind of cool to do a comedic memoir that was historical and required research and footnotes. I liked the idea of
have footnotes.
I have footnotes, and I'm happy with them because they're fun. They're a fun medium to play with. So I wanted to do kind of a concept memoir. And then, I struggled through the book. It was hard to write. I didn't realize what I was getting myself into. I mean, I had stacks of research books and history, and it was crazy. But I was like, what's the thesis here? What's the through line? Like, my brother was asking me that as he would read it, and my editor. And I started to realize, like, it's me, obviously.
Oh, did you not realize that at the beginning?
I mean, that's obviously true, but what? It's more spiritual than that. It's like, it's the thing we were talking about, that you get past the thing and you look back and you go, oh, it was, fate isn't the right word, but yeah, fate. Not fate in that I think I was headed to a place, but fate is something that you can only notice looking backwards. Like, I go, oh, wow, this was a path that looked like random. It looked like these worlds didn't belong together, but they do belong together through me, through my flesh and through my soul or whatever. And so it is that. It is like a letter to hindsight and to what life used to be like before the monoculture, before the internet told you what culture was. And it's in some ways, it's like a letter to my kid going like, well, this was the worlds that I lived in, and these are the things that were important to me, and these are the universes that made me who I am, which of course, same thing with hindsight, like makes you who you are, because you are me, and you're Natasha too, and she's got her own paths, and we kind of blend all of this together to make a universe where hopefully you can find your own people, you can find your own universes, you can have your own path.
And as I was telling you a little bit off mic, because you tree shamed me.
What did I do?
We have Christmas trees.
Oh, listen, first of all, I would have done a very light tree shame if it was December 22nd. Okay? I would have just been like, Rosen, huh? Christmas tree. That would have been it.
Okay.
But to come in on, what is it now? January 27th. 26. Still ornaments still on the tree.
What?
It would have been a mark of some chaos if the tree had been in the garbage can. It's in the living room. The ornaments are up, folks.
This is a bald-faced lie. And I don't know if it's bald or bold, so I tried to split the difference. Yeah.
Butt naked or buck naked, I don't know.
Oh, I don't know either.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Jerk off, jack off. I think it's both.
And then like dickhead, do you visualize a head of a penis or like a guy who's a walking dick? Maybe that's just me.
Yeah, sure. This is your mirror game.
Yeah, okay. But anyway, as I pointed out in the defense I attempted to mount, there are ornament boxes next to the tree, and they're like mostly filled. There's a few,
Is the tree bare?
Almost. It's almost bare.
Well, it's not the almost. What's left? What would you say is on the?
I don't know. I don't know. It's like oversized ornaments.
Ornaments.
Okay.
There's ornaments on the tree.
But anyway, okay. So I am on my own journey of figuring out what does being Jewish mean to me.
Sure.
Someone who celebrated Christmas, still celebrates Christmas, never had someone who bought Judaism for Dummies because I was like, I have to know what holidays people think I'm celebrating because people keep saying things to me and I don't know what it means. And I feel fake and I don't know how to respond when someone says like, may you be written in the book or whatever it is they say.
Yeah.
Or like, that was the most recent one. But also even just like Mazel Tov. I was like, do I say it? I don't know. So I grew up with nothing. But now I'm like, I feel like I'm getting like there's a tingling in my horns,
Oh, sure.
Like I think
your horns are growing.
It means something.
You got to get him circumcised, and the tingling will go away.
No.
If you circumcise your horns, the tingling goes away.
Okay. What does it mean to you, Judaism?
What is
That's a huge question.
It is a big question. Well, it's meant different things at different times in my life. I was, like I said, like my childhood. I was always proud of it, but I was also shame was a lot of the driver, and not classic shame. Right. I never felt shame about being horny. I never felt shame about, because I was raised in Oakland with my mom 9 months of the year. My mom is like the most sex positive, overly sex positive. I'd say too much sex positivity, mom.
Right.
As I say in the first book, we got the impression growing up that not only would it have been okay if we were gay, it would have been much preferred. Like it was, so that was one universe. So it wasn't about being sinful or wrong. It was about not.
Are those classic Jewish shame areas? I think of those as like Catholic shame.
They're more that, but definitely if you're raised Orthodox, like, you don't turn the lights on and off on Shabbat, partially because that's the way you live, but also like, God would be not into that. Like,
right.
It's, and that might not seem like a sin to most people, but to an Orthodox Jew, for sure it is. So I didn't have much of that because 9 months of the year I was secular. As I say in this book, like I had a much more and much less Jewish upbringing than almost any Jewish person I know. It sounds like you had much less, but it's like
I'm an anomaly though.
I was like, like hyper hyperbaric chamber Judaism for the summer, but then I'd go home and I wouldn't go to temple year round. I didn't even go to summer camp with my.
Was your mom? Was she Jewish?
Jewish, but she's just like, it's all hippie. She's more of a hippie and a therapy person. And then all of a sudden, I'm like in the old country, and so most of my experience in that community was being really embarrassed that I didn't know what I was doing. This was the kind of place.
Well,
where,
that I get.
Well, we all get that to some degree, but it's like. My family, my dad would take me, our family's from two sects of Hasidic Judaism. One are called the Satmars, and that's the family, the sect that my father married into, and one are called the Skveres. Skver is a village in upstate New York. These are the two most hardcore of all the Hasidic Jewish groups. They're all hardcore, and these are the most hardcore. Skver, where my family, some of my family is from, women don't drive in New Square. Women don't drive. This town, in Hillary Clinton's senatorial campaign, all of the citizens of New Square voted for Hillary Clinton. All of them. Maybe statistically not all, but basically all.
Yeah. In
an unrelated story, Bill Clinton pardoned one of the elders of that community in a Pell Grant scandal. Okay, this is the universe that we're operating in. It's like that. It's heavy. It's not.
Wait, what's the significance of them all voting for Hillary?
Because Hillary Clinton was. I mean, I don't know that this happened, but it would seem that Hillary Clinton was like, if you give me your whole village, I'll get Billy Clinton over here to give you a little pass. And then the Rebbe, the big rabbi of that community. This is such a hardcore community that the rabbi, it's called a Rebbe. It's like a rabbi plus. It's like Rabbi Prime. Could say to the citizens, "We're voting for Hillary Clinton." So
Got it.
That's how intense.
I was stuck on like the women don't drive, but they voted for a woman.
Unrelated, because we could get our guy. I mean, I don't know that. I do not know that
but
happened.
Possibly it did.
It would be hard to explain all of those votes otherwise.
Yeah.
So that's my kind of what I'm living in, right? I didn't live in Square. That would have been probably too much. I was in a neighborhood called Seagate, a Satmar neighborhood called Seagate. The dodgeball games in that neighborhood were the ultra Orthodox kids versus the actually religious kids. Right? Like the ultra Orthodox kids were the non-religious kids in that community. These kids spoke Yiddish as a first language. These are. I have cousins with Eastern European accents that are third generation American.
Wow.
Like it's
like pretty culty, right?
Culty is not the
Maybe
word.
Not the right word.
I would. Well, yes, in a way, I guess it is culty because each sect of Hasidic Judaism is characterized by the fact, and this is very specific to Hasidic Judaism, it's characterized by the fact that there is a Rebbe. Like I said, a Rebbe is a rabbi. Plus, every Hasidic Jewish sect has a Rebbe at the top, who is the king of that little universe. And I go through the history of Hasidic Judaism and how that started in the book. And I'll spare you the details, but it started in that tradition. There was like an upstart. And the weird thing about Hasidic Judaism is it was originally supposed to be an answer to old world Judaism, which had become very rule-based, very devoid of spirit. And all of a sudden, this rabbi, the Baal Shem Tov, came along and said, let's start doing crazy shit. Let's start being spiritual. It was kind of like Sufism in Islam, or like, it's just like this weird upstart thing that then created.
It sounds like the beginning of Jesus Christ Superstar.
It sounds like Jesus Christ, actually. Yeah. In a lot of ways. It does sound like Christianity. What Jesus was trying to do, the Baal Shem Tov was trying to do, is like, let's restart this thing. Let's give it a jump start.
Get back to what it's supposed to be about, not with these old
fogies. Yes, exactly. It's the same process. So, okay, I'm trying to answer your question. In the beginning, I was ashamed because I had an English prayer book. I didn't know the prayers. They'd call on me, and I just remember trying to be invisible. And then it became a middle finger. Like, I don't give a fuck about this. When I started getting high, I wasn't going back to Seagate anymore. I was just like, fuck you guys. And then I got sober, and I started to go into Jewish stuff as a kind of reconnecting to because in AA they say like there's an 11th step where you look through prayer, sought through prayer and meditation to improve our conscious contact with God or whatever. So I go, well, why not try Judaism? That's the thing I was born into. I'll try that. And I started to have a relationship with it. And then my dad got sick, and then I went home to watch him die. And then after he died, I was charged with the task of saying the prayer for the mourner's Kaddish. And you have a full year where you're supposed to say that prayer. And also, losing a parent, it's so gnarly. But Judaism has this system of grief, which is so powerful and palpable. Like, I don't know how other people do it.
So my dad died in July, and I would have liked to have a system of grief.
Well, because you're so lost.
Yeah.
Grief is so hard. You don't know what to do. And then here comes religion going, you don't know what to do?
Like
you need answers?
Religion really steps up when you're mourning. I
Yes. And Judaism in particular, it was like stratified. It's like, I don't know what to do. I'm in chaos. I need a path for my grief. It's like, here's the path.
Mm-hmm.
A week we sit in Shiva, and we sit there, and you just sit and grieve and in the muck of your pain. And then at a week in, we get up, we walk around the block, we let the soul of the departed go. But for a month, you're in this different state. You don't shave, you don't go to
Cover mirrors, right?
You cover the mirrors. I don't know if that lasts a full month. That definitely is in the Shiva. You don't go to concerts, you don't go to movies, you don't go to parties. You're back because you have to go back to work, but you're in this altered state, so you're still grieving. And then for the month is up, you become I shaved. So now I look normal again, but I'm still not quite normal. I still have to say this prayer. I'm still like charged.
You do it every day? Is that
You're supposed to do it every day. And my brother did it every day. I'm not religious enough to do that.
Right.
But I would try to do it every week. I would try to go to synagogue on every Friday night for the full year and say this prayer because I was still in this like active grieving phase. And I started to have this unique experience, which was like so different from my experience in AA. It was not this like, bam, you're a reverend.
Mm-hmm.
This is like, I'll never be a rabbi. I'll always have this at arm's length, but it had become mine.
Mm-hmm.
Slowly it became mine. And the weirdest thing is like, I'm this like raver kid and this Burning Man guy, and I would go into temples in the Bay Area, and it'd be like woman rabbi and like hippies and gay guys, and I'd just be like, what is this? Like, it's so weird because it's like I'm this, but the only exposure to a Jewish thing is through this like unbelievably narrow and old-fashioned thing.
Right.
So I'm having these like almost aesthetic objections to what I'm seeing. I go, why am I objecting to this? Like,
Yeah.
I don't even like the thing I'm negatively comparing it to. I'm like, it should be like this, which sucks. And
Right.
Through all that kind of grappling, I just crafted this version of it that like would belong to me a little bit. It was fish, not bones, and it was mine. And I got a degree when I went to college. Like, I studied Jewish history, and that's where I really started to understand what my relationship with Judaism is. Is like, my relationship with Judaism, more than anything, is historical, and it's love based. I love our history. I love our struggle. I love our path, our difficulties, our triumphs. Our ugliness, our beauty. Like, I love the history of our people, I guess, and that is all in here.
I know that Natasha converted.
Yeah.
Was that important to you? What was that decision like?
It was, I would have married her no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
But when she offered it to me, it was extremely meaningful to me. I think it's a crazy request to a person to go like, hey, how about you leave your identity behind and join mine? It's like crazy. So I never made the request. I wouldn't have made the request. And she was like, I'd do it. I like it. She was Catholic, and she's like, I don't have anything there that's left. Like, I like these certain things. I like Shabbat. I like blah, blah, blah. And so that was really meaningful. And it was sweet to me that we could have a Jewish family kind of thing. Because like I said, like, I know it probably sounds like I'm super religious. I really am not. I just like, I wasn't somehow I wasn't traumatized by that shame stuff, because I always felt like it's another universe. I mean, I remember being at my father's Shiva, and there were all these men there that looked like they were time travelers. And I just remember, and they were there to say the prayer. 3 times a day you'd say this mourner's prayer. And I remember going, I want to this is pre-live streaming, but I was like, I want to, whatever live streaming will be. I wish I had like a camera on this, so that I could port it back to my friends back home, and they could look at the video, because then they would get me.
What would they have gotten about you?
That this is me too.
Okay.
That I'm this product of these like bizarro like other universes that you can't relate to. I go fly back home and it's like all my fucking Burning Man friends with like face tattoos and all my rave friends and my recovery friends, like the guy with the swastika tattoo, he's still my best friend to this day. That's a joke. I don't know that guy. But anyway, you know what I mean? It's like I mean, they can't even. I go, oh yeah, my dad was religious. I go, oh okay. Like even my comedian friend. Oh, my dad was religious. I go, oh okay. No, you don't get it. Like, I mean, there are certain people that get it. Like Alex Edelman gets it and Robbie Hoffman gets it. These are people that were born in this universe too. But it was like, it just felt like it would help translate me. Not like I'm them, but like this weird thing is a part of the building blocks of who I am. And so I guess like you asked me like how did this book come about? Like to me, this is me explaining my meanness to the world, to myself, and to my kids someday. Like this is how I became me. You can't get me without all of these universes.
Right. Did you watch Unorthodox?
I did. Yes, I did.
Because
that is the sect that my family's from.
It is. Okay.
Yeah.
So very like, I mean, you said how fundamentalist and like strict and intense it is, but do you have judgment? Sounds so judgmental. That's
kind of classically
about
so.
It though, yeah.
Yes, of course. I definitely. It's a stark and sometimes ugly. It can be an ugly world, but that ugliness has an explanation. Some of it is unjustifiable. Some of it's unjustifiable. But it's not inexplicable. And some of it is very beautiful. That world is very beautiful, very traditional in a way that is really beautiful. The Hasidic world in general, by the way, is not the world of every sect is not the same. And some are very just joyous and beautiful. They're all fundamentalist religion, and they have the trappings that those things do. But Hasidic Judaism, you have to understand. And this is what I felt my task in this book was in some ways. You have to understand that you are not, when you look at that ugliness, you are not looking at the ugliness straight. You are looking at that ugliness through the reflection of the Holocaust, of 2,000 years of pogroms, of anti-Semitism, and which culminated in its apex at the Holocaust. So the Hasidic Jews that you see now, they are all living in response to what happened in World War II. All of them came from Europe, all of those sects, except for one great sect called the Bostoner Hasids, who are literally born in, I don't know how, but they came from Boston. And I love that. It's just like, I love the idea of a bunch of thick-necked goons in a like drinking Guinness out of a yarmulke. But anyway, all the rest of them, they are a product of the shattering of their people. And then some of them had, the Chabad people, they do the telethon.
It's so funny. Just last night, I was Googling, I thought it was pronounced Shabbat, but I was like, what is that? Because I met someone who said her daughter goes to Shabbat here. And I was like, Chabad, yes.
Chabad. You can do Chabad.
Chabad
better than
I want to do
Shabbat.
it. Chabad.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
He said that her daughter goes to Chabad, and I was like,
So just lean your horns into it.
And I was like, what is the difference between Chabad? Does that sound right?
Close.
I feel like I
Chabad.
should. Chabad.
Chabad.
There's
Good.
too much. Is that right?
Too much. Yeah, you're overdoing it. Chabad.
I lean too hard into the horns.
Okay.
Chabad. What's the difference between that and synagogue? So anyway, last night I was trying to find out, like, what is the difference between that and synagogue and temple and, like, all these things.
Right. Anyway, all that and more is explained in the book, but
I got to read that
it's too much. It's too much to go through the entire history of it. But what I will say is, after the war, all the Hasidic dynasties that were left, many did not make it, came to America and to Israel, and some stayed in Europe, but really mostly no. Actually, they basically were gone. They all had to say, well, what do we do now? A lot of Jews just were like, well, fuck this. Judaism is bullshit. Religion's bullshit. How's there a God when my whole family was destroyed?
Right. Well, my dad's response, although he was born here, it's probably my mom, her mom came over from Vienna. The rest of her family did not make it. But my dad's response was just like, I'm an atheist. Being Jewish seems unsafe, and I would like to not ever be that, so I'm going to say I'm not.
Yeah.
But then he didn't change the name, so it's like my whole life I was saying I believed I wasn't Jewish. Everyone knew I was.
Well, this classic thing, this is not, your dad was not the first person to do it. This classic thing is one of the most mystical elements of anti-Semitism, which is that your dad isn't forgiven. He doesn't like you
By
can't
who?
even by the mythical anti-Semitic force of the universe.
Oh, right. No, you can't
and go, hey, no, I left it. They're
Yeah.
like, nope, you're still in.
Right.
You know,
Except for right now, sorry to get political, but except for right now where actually Jews are white colonizers.
also very complicated. But what I will say is that in Germany, before the Germans were the most assimilated of all the Jews.
Yes, this is what I've heard.
They used to call them the more Christian than the Christians, and they would have, and I hate to say this, but they would have Christmas parties with beautiful Christmas trees, and they'd bake a ham, and they'd invite all their friends, and it'd be all Jews
Yeah.
because none of the. It's like they were going like, "Come on, it's Christmas," but no non-Jews would even show up,
Right.
But so from the most assimilated of all of the European Jewish communities comes the Holocaust. That's some shit that kind of blows my mind.
Yeah.
Anyway, the Hasidic Jews, when they came to this country, they had a few different responses. Jews had a lot of different responses. Some were like your dad, a pretty, I would say, not a weird response to say,
For
fuck
that
this, I'm out.
time, yeah.
It makes sense
He
to
was
me.
born in 33.
Some
yeah.
people were like, let's assimilate and just hope that people don't do this again. And a lot of the Hasidic Jewish groups said to themselves, okay, the world is profane, violent, they hate us, they're awful. Let's build a wall around our society because we're the only thing, we know us. And we're the only thing left. So they built this that is good in the world. Let's build a wall around our society, and we'll just hold on to these little shards of holiness. What happened inside of the wall is that ethic became, warped. The people were born inside the wall, and they were so
Right.
it became
So it's like insularity.
Exactly. So as I say, like when you're interacting with a Hasidic Jew, you're never interacting with the Jew, but you're interacting with that Jew, with that Hasidic Jew's interaction with the destruction of almost all of his ancestors. It's a blip in the timeline. It's a railroad switch. So all the stuff that is difficult, I'm not saying it's absolvable. It's not. But all the stuff that is difficult is mashed through that historical lens.
Oh, that totally makes sense. And I can see why they flew you around to talk about AA.
Yeah. Well.
Let's take a detour,
Yeah.
and do Just Me or Everyone.
Okay. Yes, I'm excited about this.
Sometimes I
The music, by the way.
Thank you.
something
In juxtaposition to the conversation.
I know.
Is it just me or everyone?
All right, you said you had one.
Okay, am I the only one?
That's what you're wondering, yes.
I flush the toilet while I am peeing.
Yes.
All of the time. I have tried to stop.
Me too.
It doesn't make sense. I don't know why I do it.
Yep.
How far in are we talking?
Well,
Never as close to being done as in my head tells me.
Me too.
Yeah.
Me too. I think it is maybe a man basketball thing. Where you're like, dunk. The last drop is gonna I don't know why I do it. It's wasteful.
Yeah.
Oh, because then you got to flush again.
Yes. And there's still pee in the toilet.
Right. Interesting.
I can't believe you do it too. I wonder if so many guys do it and we just never talk about it.
When you started talking, I was like, oh my God, please say it. Please say it.
Do you get a little bit of a effervescent wetness too? I mean, I guess you're probably not that close.
You're saying like the spray back from the toilet?
Yeah, from the flushing. Sometimes there's a little
I hear it. Well, that's because you sit.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Well, but my whole I like to put the lid down now before flushing even.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
But why don't do it?
So 100% of the time this happens.
Yeah. And I'm the same boat. Keep trying to
Yes.
stop doing it. Why am I doing this?
Yes. For I would say years, I've been going, don't do that anymore. That's dumb. And then I just do it.
It does sound like you're trying to time it right though.
I think so.
It's like a expedience thing.
But why? Why do I need it? You can walk out of the room while it's flushing. There's
That's true. Yeah, I don't know.
You don't have to make sure that the process is complete.
It's not like you're going to impress anyone.
I know.
Now, what about urinals?
Oh, urinals are actually sometimes I do flush the urinal before I'm done, but not as much.
I don't think I ever do that.
Not as much. You don't really need to flush a urinal, truthfully. That's like a courtesy that every 10th user does.
What does flushing a urinal do?
You just shimmer water past the cake.
Okay, so when you pee in a urinal, it goes down. And then
Yeah.
flushing it is giving it a little courtesy
Yeah.
rinse-a-roo.
So not everybody needs to flush your nose. It's really you just do it when it feels right.
Right, okay.
And you just hope somebody else is doing that too. You spray it forward.
Oh, that's nice. Okay, excellent. That was an excellent one. And I feel like a lot of people are going to write in and say it's them as well. Do you happen to have a hey, go fuck yourself?
Oh, hey, do you have one? Oh, it's just me.
It's just you.
I see. Oh, this is heavy. My stress, my mind.
Okay.
I've been hey, go fucking yourself, my mind, because I've got this book. I've been having this conversation so much. It's so heavy. There's so much weight on it. And I just want to say, I would love to get to the point where I walk through a heavy pressure situation and don't stress off of it. What would that be like? Are people like that?
I feel like they are, but
Are
I don't know if they
Buddhists
wait
like that?
books. Oh my gosh, probably.
It
That's the
would
whole
be
thing.
so good if I could
Yeah.
just be like, yeah, that's happening, but we'll see what happens.
Oh my god.
It'll be good, maybe. Have you ever heard that Chinese proverb about the guy with the horse?
Mm-mm.
I love this. And this is also a theme in the book, which is like you just don't know when bad things are good, when good things are bad. You just don't know until you get to the further down the path. There's this like Chinese villager, and he finds a horse in the field, beautiful horse, and all the neighbors run up and they go, "You found a horse! You got a free horse! That's great!" And he goes, "Maybe." And then the next day, his son takes it for a ride and is shucked off the horse and it breaks his leg. And they go, "Your son broke his leg! That's terrible!" He goes, "Maybe." And then the next day, the emperor's forces come and say, "We're conscripting all the young men to the war." And then they look at the son and go, "You're good." So it's like this tale about like, you just don't ever know what's good or what's bad. What if you could walk through the world with that in your mind?
I feel like that would it'd be such a discipline, which I guess is what Buddhism is. But
Right.
That'd be amazing.
It is funny, though. It's useless.
Buddhism? Or
Yes, Buddhism as a religion is useless.
stress. I know.
It's just
I know.
it doesn't help you
No, it
accomplish
doesn't.
the thing.
Yeah, worry, stress. They don't do anything. And yet I think as someone who does worry and get stressed, or this is about worry, not stress specifically. I think there's this idea that if you think about it enough and right, you can keep yourself safe, which is bullshit.
Right. And you won't, nothing will slip.
Yeah.
You know?
won't get blindsided.
Well, with this book, this book is it's a launch. I mean, it's like a movie or a TV show, but even more, I don't know. It's just like, build up. And I keep trying to live in this place of like, this will be over. The hype, the good, the anguish, whatever it is, it's gone. It's in a few months. I'll just be like, oh, no, I'm onto this thing now.
Yeah.
So why don't I live over there? I'll try to get there, do what I need to do for this, and then live over there.
Right.
Anyway.
Do you ever have, this is a just me or everyone.
Yes.
You don't need to play it again, but but I was tempted to read it. Like you can effectively get to the place of like, this will all be over. In 3 months, this will be over. But then you're like, well, if I can do that, this will all be over. My
Like
life will be over.
everything.
Like it goes so fast. Like I do that. So, and then that like scares me. Like that thing of leave a party or a situation on a high note. And then I go, wait, why not? Again, I'm not saying that I am absolutely not suicidal, but my brain goes like, why not leave your life on a good note? Which please, no one do that.
The problem is with leaving your life on a good note is you don't know when the best note is.
You're right.
And I mean, that's the truth of the party too. But like, I really want to stay to the end of the party.
Yeah.
It's just, even if it gets worse, I want to.
Well, that's how I am with life. Like I know a lot of people are like, and it's male comedians who say this. I don't want to live past like, I don't know, 68, 70. I'm good. I'm out. And I'm like, talk to me when you're that age.
Oh,
I want to live till I would
forever.
98, 100.
Okay, I got one for you, and for you as well. Mm-hmm. Would you rather?
He was an afterthought, wasn't he?
No, he was my primary thought. You talking about the drummer for Moshe No More? Would you rather live to 105 and you're as sharp as a tack and healthy until 100, and then you spend 5 years in body racking agony and Alzheimer's? Your consciousness is slipping from you. You're very aware of it. It's the worst. But or you die at 75.
And there's no
So you get 25 more years.
there's no way I'm not 50.
No, 20.
Oh.
The difference between 175 and 100 is 25.
You're telling me when I'm going to die.
No, you get 25 extra years
Right. You get 5 years of misery.
with 5 years of misery.
But now there's no way around those 5 years, right? We're not
No.
like by that time.
No cure. It's inherent in the question. You get 25 years extra unbelievable life, but 5 years of agony, or you die at 75.
I'm leaving at 75.
Yeah,
Those
I'm
5
kind of
years
leaning
sound
that
really
way
bad.
too. Yeah,
I'm thinking I'm doing the full Monty.
Really?
Yeah, I'm trying to squeeze life.
But
It's all good.
those 5 years are going to be so bad.
I'll deal with it.
Like
I
I'm
get
doing
25 years. 25? I'm only 26 now.
right. Same.
I know.
I know, but like I'm doing
25 more years with your
I'm doing
kid.
I know, like I'm doing Invisalign right now, and for some reason,
That's like 5 years of agony.
well, it's really not bad. Except every night I get this just horrendous pain on this side of my face, and I can barely tolerate that. So these 5 years of misery, I don't know if I can hack it.
Right. You might not have the strength. I always think about that, by the way. Like when I was going through, when we were like doing the like pandemic and stuff, I was like, we're complaining about this. People lived in attics for the whole war.
Right.
Like people get through
They
crazy
literally
shit.
have to bite a bullet to have their leg amputated.
Yes.
And I'm like, oh, my jaw hurts.
Invisalign is poking my gum.
And then, like, I'll tell myself, because the second I feel it, I'm like, I gotta take more Advil or something harder, And then I'm like, it's just pain.
I know.
Can you just breathe through it? Like,
It's just stress. It's the same
Yeah.
thing. You
Oh.
got to be like mentally tough and Buddhist, I think. You got to be Buddhist. I think my point of this conversation is everybody should be Buddhist.
right. So you wanted to say something to your stress.
Hey, go fuck yourself.
Yep.
All right. And then this is the last part of the show.
Okay.
I have kept you too long.
I have to
Thank you.
go.
Right now.
No, I have to go
Use the bathroom.
flush your toilet before all of the urine has been taken away.
Would you? Okay, so what we're going to do
Go.
is
I'm in.
Podcast Palz Product Picks. Would
Oh,
you like
yes.
to pee first, though?
No.
Okay.
Let's roll. Let's
do.
bop.
Podcast Palz Product Picks. All right.
Here's what I love. It was beautiful.
That's not me. That's Robin Shore. Do you know her?
Yeah, I think I do.
Yeah,
Okay.
those are her
Here's
dulcet
what I
tones.
pick. Are you a nicotine pod user?
No.
I'm talking to your listeners.
Oh, okay.
Are you a nicotine pod listener? Eater, sucker? Do you put nicotine pods in your cheek? Are you upset about Joe Biden's agenda to take flavored nicotine pods off the market? Well, I am. Joe Biden, this one's for you. Anyway, basically, I've been ordering nicotine pods on the internet because that's the only place that you can get flavored nicotine pods anymore.
Did not know this.
Yeah, I guess the Biden administration, like, that like long-standing thing where like kids and flavors,
Yeah.
it's just so fucked up. It's like adults like flavors. We like flavors too. Anyway, I like these coffee on pods, and I find them on the internet. So if you
So
were
a pod is something you put in your cheek as opposed to a vape pen?
yeah. I was vaping for a while. You think I might have a substance problem at
I
all?
mean, it seems like possibly.
It's not. I'm not. I smoked, and then I did gum, and then I did toothpicks, and then I did vaping, and then
They
I
make
did gum again,
wait,
and then I did
nicotine toothpicks or just toothpicks?
nicotine toothpicks.
I didn't
yeah.
know that exists.
I don't think I have a substance problem. Anyway, yes, I was vaping through the I was vaping, and then I was like, it seems like lungs are important. And then
Yeah,
and
for
then
breathing
the
and
pandemic
more.
thing, I was like,
Oh, yeah.
lungs. Yeah, lungs good. So anyway, that's one. Okay. I'm going actually I don't want to shout these people out because they've never been an advertiser on my podcast. Do you have any socks that advertise on your podcast?
Not presently,
Okay.
although
Listen,
I have had Bombas and I do like them.
I gotta say, they're the best sock. Oh, I got some stuff. Viba. I'm wearing the shoe. Vibae. Viba boots. I'm wearing them right
They
now.
look good.
They are the most
Think
comfortable
you can get
boots.
a shoe up on the camera?
Yeah, I could get a shoe up on. Are you kidding me right now? Get a shoe up. Get this shoe on. They're made in Finland.
They
They
look
look
so
like
good.
little elf shoes.
Yeah.
I love them. Wait, I'm just like shouting out products that hook me up. This seems like, is this the point of the game?
No, the point of the game is so that then I can post it.
this doesn't
and put
help
it in
me.
my Amazon store.
Oh, okay, this doesn't. I've been using.
That's fine, but it's
this-
also just to recommend stuff.
Listen, I got a lot of companies I like. I like Dandy Del Mar. I like Outlier New York City. I
I don't
like.
know who any of these people are.
Well, I love
what do
them.
they do? Do they make cool people clothes?
Yeah, that's right. So, but this one maybe for you. This year, I have finally decided to start taking my skin care game.
Oh, I love
seriously.
skincare stuff.
I went to the dermatologist. Now, this is more for you, actually, because I went and I go, look, I want to do something, but don't give me some bullshit that you know I'm going to fail. Like, give me the guy that is vain but isn't going to do it all. And he said, retinol at night, vitamin C in the morning, followed by an SPF. So I'm ashamed to admit this, but the only combination of vitamin C and SPF, because I'm trying to make it even simpler, the only combination of SPF and
you're
vitamin
trying
C,
to do the like
2-in-1. I got that goop. I got that goop. They got a 2-in-1.
I
You think
didn't
it's
know.
bad to have a 2-in-1?
No.
Think it's bullshit?
No, I think it's fine.
I do 2-in-1 goop. It's super expensive, but it's 2-in-1, and it's like a little grenade, and that makes me feel like a man. It looks like a grenade. Not literally, but very
Is
close.
it for men?
No, goop? Come on
Well,
now.
I wouldn't think goop was, but
I would
it was
love
like
to see
grenade.
goop men. Ooh, we could make
Oh,
so
you
much
should
money.
do that.
Goop men. Actually, if Gwyneth hears this, she's starting it.
Yeah.
Goop men. You
Gwyneth-
kind of got a Gwyneth thing about you. You must have heard that before.
No, I've never heard that.
Really? You do?
Yeah. I've heard Claire Danes from Kurt Brownoller.
Okay. Yeah, you got a Gwyneth thing going on right now.
Thank you.
Yeah, you do. Goop.
Thank you.
And then retinol is
Which one do you like? What percentage?
I've
do you
gone.
know?
I don't know. I've gone all over the place. The thing is about skincare is it all feels a little bit like snake oil. Because you go in, you go, how much is this? I go $170. You go, okay, and then you go on to Amazon. How much is this? $20. It's
And
how
my-
could it? What do you got in here? What ox horn have you ground up?
Right. My husband is the biggest mark for that.
Yeah.
He got sold on because he goes to a dermatologist. He grew up in Arizona, gets like little skin cancer things he
Yeah.
has to get removed. So he has to go to the dermatologist. And he happens to go to one in Beverly Hills that like has his own skincare line.
Yes.
So he'll come home with 2 bottles and I'll say, how much did it cost? And he'll say, oh, I don't know. Like he won't ask. And it's like this vitamin C serum. He bought one. I ended up using it. So
They're
it was
wild.
fine. It costs $180.
No, it's insane.
Yeah.
That's why goop. Get that goop.
Yeah.
Got to grab that goop.
So wait, let's go back to these coffee nicotine pods, though.
Yeah.
Which you don't want to say the name, which is fine. I'll just.
I don't care about saying the name. Pods are what I like.
Oh, on pods. Oh.
On.
So
but
what
I'm
is
using
it-
right now. I got these because I found a weird upstart liquor store. This is what most people use. An upstart liquor store still sells the flavored kind. I will not say where because they're outlaws. But these are gross. I like that.
So what
on.
is it though? It's like a little pouch you put in your cheek, and then
You want me to put one in?
I mean,
I was going to anyway.
okay.
I mean, I was going to
Then
try
do you
to
have to
subtly do
spit?
it. No, that's the beauty. But by the way, this is not chewing tobacco, just so you know. This is to chewing tobacco as vaping is to smoking. This is
Okay.
synthetic nicotine.
It's
made
so
in,
sensual too.
Made in a lab. Did it do it for you?
Yeah.
Made in a lab. And it's just got like vegetable detritus and flavoring in it. And
nicotine.
And it's good for you. No,
So wait.
I don't think it's good for you.
But wait, nicotine. Okay. That now, don't sue me. This is for entertainment. But nicotine itself is like actually, my understanding is that is not bad for you. It's all the other stuff that's bad for you. So is that actually not bad for you, or does that give you cancer?
It unlikely gives you cancer, but it is not. I would not say, and I am not an expert on this either.
Yeah, don't
I would
sue
not.
him either.
I would not say that it is good for you. I
Okay.
think it does have detrimental health effects, but smoking is so unbelievably bad for
Right.
you. It's been like years since I've smoked, more than 5.
Mm-hmm.
But I kind of here's the real problem with being sober and getting married. It's just like, what do I got left?
Video games.
I do, yeah. I haven't played a video game in a long time. I should get back into that. But it's like, what do I got? I can't be just guy, just man,
Like just husband and
just
father.
person walking around with nothing. I got to have one little thing, don't I? Don't I deserve it?
Do you mean like you got Burning Man? That's like a huge
I want like
thing.
a vice.
Okay.
I don't want a vice. There's some part of me that's like, I don't want to give up.
And are you like pretty? Because I saw the clip where Natasha was talking about not buying sugared cereals for your daughter.
I do eat a lot of sugar.
Oh, you do?
Oh,
okay.
yeah.
I was going to say, are you like clean eating? That's not you. That's just
I eat
her.
healthy plus candy. I'm keto plus candy.
Okay.
No, I'm not keto, but I eat generally pretty healthy, and then I eat candy.
What's your candy of choice?
Oh, gummy, for sure. I had a dark night on Amazon the other night, and I started Googling really spicy cinnamon candy.
Okay.
Like, I want it to hurt a bit.
Is this trying to get off of it, or you just want to feel something?
No. It's like I like it. I want it. Give me that.
Mm-hmm.
And I found these gummy, these jelly bean cinnamon hearts, real strong. I ordered a 2-pound bag. And then when I was there, I saw a 2-pound bag of sour gummy candies.
Okay. Went
ahead and ordered that as well. I've never done that before. And when it came, I was like, this is wrong. This is not. It's like getting a pocket pussy or something. It's just like, what am I doing? Like, this can't be coming in the mail for me. So I can't do that again. But I will eat all the candy. But when I'm done with that, I believe I will never order that again.
But you're still going to eat candy. You're just not going to order 2 pounds of.
Oh, I'll still eat. Yeah, you just can't have an Amazon package of 4 pounds of candy. I mean, that's wrong.
When I was pregnant with my first kid, I got this craving for. Do you remember those sun-kissed fruit gems?
Oh, they're really good.
I think they don't make them anymore.
Yeah, that would make sense. They're solid. That's a solid candy. I know all gummy candy. That's a solid candy.
I really enjoyed them.
They make an inferior version at Trader Joe's.
Oh, yes.
It's not as good.
I've never
you want
tried
that
it.
disc. You know that disc has
the individually wrapped disc.
The disc has softness and coldness. You put it on your tongue, it's kind of cold in this weird way.
Yeah.
Kind of like, what's going on here?
What I found were like some that were made from the Philippines and they had a different flavor. And I was like,
It didn't do it for you.
It's like scratching next to the itch.
Yeah, sure.
Now, where are you with like a good and plenty? Or a good
I love a good and plenty.
Okay.
I love a good and plenty. That's a solid candy.
Yeah.
That's a rock solid candy.
My parents...
Ask me about Snickers.
I'll ask you that next. My parents went through a phase years ago where they were into fresh, good and plenty. Yeah, fresh, good. And there was like one store where they could get them fresh.
I love that.
I thought it was pretty adorable.
No, I love that. And I relate to it, actually. I think that's kind of what's up. Because I like certain candies are not popular, and so you will often get one. You go, oh, this is 5 years old.
Right.
Like I want the fresh version. I want the soft, fresh. However, marshmallows, I like to put them on a shelf and for 2 years and let them become rock hard. I've never been able to successfully do it, but I once found a bag of opened marshmallows that was like 2 years old. It's one of the greatest experiences of my life.
When you age them, do you open the bag?
Yes.
Okay.
I open the
like
bag.
a stale peep.
I've gone further than that. I've taken them out of the bag and arranged them on a shelf so that they can age more with more oxygen.
And your wife's cool with this?
No, of course not.
Oh my God! I just had the best memory, and then I have to ask you about Snickers, and I have to ask, and you got to pee, and I have to ask you about what are these unpopular candies you like.
Okay.
That's where we're going, and then I promise I'm letting you go. When you were last here, which was in my old apartment. It was filled with toys and like we had, instead of baby proofing it, we just put a big
I remember.
gate up.
I remember.
You said, can I take a picture?
Yes.
And send it to Natasha and say, I don't want our house to ever look like this.
That is so rude of me. Was it fun?
It was funny.
Okay, good.
Yeah, it was funny.
I remember I had a friend come over once when we were, I think maybe Natasha was pregnant, and he looked at our living room, which is immaculate.
I know.
And he was like, that's Natasha. And he was like, oh, say goodbye to this. There's toys everywhere. And I go, I don't think we're going to do that. And he goes, I'll talk to you in a couple of years. And I have made it.
Was it Pete Holmes?
No, but it could have been. I have made it my mission to make him wrong. Because
I wish someone had said that to us.
I have a uniquely well-situated living room for that. We have double doors that close and latch. So we kind of have kept, not that our kid isn't allowed in there, she is, but it's not.
You can make it not the play area.
We can stop it from being a play den.
Right.
And so I have kept that conversation in my mind.
Where does she play though? Like, where are her toys? In her room?
In her room. There are some in that one room a little bit. We tuck them in the corner, and then we have a downstairs area too that she can play in. Yeah.
All right, real fast.
Okay.
What's your unpopular candy?
I like a Nico wafer. That's an old school.
God,
you hate?
I mean, I haven't had them in a long time, but don't they taste like chalk and clove?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah. Give me that. Unpopular. I like a. I don't know if it's unpopular. I like a hot tamale. Obviously, they used to have fierce hot tamales.
I didn't know this.
And then they stopped making them, and that's why I had to resort to Amazon. I like a payday. It's pretty good. Here's what's weird. You're asking me about Snickers. I'll answer you now.
Okay.
I hate nuts in candy.
Same.
Always, except for payday, which is all nuts.
It's just nuts with like caramel inside, right?
I don't get it either.
But how do you feel about Snickers?
Disgusting.
I don't think they're disgusting, but I
Would
do
never eat
not
one.
love them.
Wouldn't eat one.
Same.
If I was dying.
Maybe if I was dying. But yeah, I don't get it. They're not.
No.
Milky Way over Snickers any day.
Absolutely. Keep the nuts away from my candy.
Lizzie Cooperman was on the show around Halloween, and she went around the table and tried to guess what each of our favorite candy is. And she told me, from me, she was getting big Snickers energy.
No, you don't have Snickers energy.
Thank you. I have Gwyneth energy.
You got Gwyneth and Starburst discs.
I've never had
Or
one.
Starkist discs.
Oh, yeah.
Whatever those are called. Sunkissed discs.
Yeah.
Yes.
Listen, this has been delightful. Thank you for letting me take up your entire day. I appreciate it. Plug away.
Well,
please.
yeah, the book is out tomorrow. You can pre-order. You can order it now. Actually, if you pre-order it, you still will get access to an online book tour event.
If they pre-order it,
for the pre-orders,
right now.
Yeah, today, right now, then you can come. I have 6 moderators, one from each scene. We have Max Greenfield, quite an actor from New Girl. Nal DeMarco from Dancing with the Stars and America's Top Model and an author on his own. Reggie Watts for The Rave World. And we have Nick Kroll for Burning Man. Stand-up comedy is Atsuko. And Judaism is Alex Edelman. So it's quite an event.
Sounds amazing.
So if you order now, you can come to that. And if not, you can come see me on the road. I will be in Austin tomorrow. And then at Book People with Duncan Trussell moderating. And then I will be at in LA with Mayim Bialik moderating as a part of the Pan America series at the Ebell Theater on the 31st. Then I will be in Washington, D.C. at 6th and I Synagogue. And I will be after that in New York at 92Y with Jacqueline Novak. And then I will be in San Francisco for Sketchfest. That's on the 3rd of, actually, I didn't do the timing right. First, I'm in San Francisco on the 3rd. That's another 6-person event. That'll be really fun. It's almost sold out, but it's part of San Francisco Sketchfest. And you can come see me there. I'm going to Portland too in February 14th.
Someone wants to find all these dates. Where might they find
Moshe
them?
Kasher.com.
Okay.
Was that too many dates at once?
It was a lot. I feel like people might not be able to take
I'm on book tour. Come and see me. MosheKasher.com. MosheKasher.
And listen to Endless Honeymoon podcast.
That's right. I also got, I should have mentioned that. I do an advice podcast with my wife, and people call in, and we have secrets, and it's great. It's the best, and I love it, and I love her, and yeah, listen to that podcast. Come see me live doing stand-up. This has been awesome.
Tony?
Not much going on right now. Same old crap. Instagram at
Tony Thaxton.
All right.
Oh, I need that.
And please follow me on social media at Allison Rosen on Twitter and Instagram. My book, Tropical Attire, Encourage, and Other Phrases That Scare Me, has been re-released with new material.
Cool.
Please go buy that and leave a review if you do, and especially if you like it. Also leave a review for this podcast. Subscribe on YouTube, youtube.com/Allison Rosen, and all the other places. And my newsletter, AllisonRosen.substack.com. You can get to all of the, oh my God, and I forgot to mention Patreon. Patreon.com/Allison Rosen. You can get to all my stuff at Allison'sLinks.com. Moshe, thank you so much. This was
pleasure.
so great. Definitely go buy the book. Listeners, thank you for listening. I love you. You matter. Goodbye.
Hey, do you know about the Allison Rosen Show? We had a good time, but now we gotta go. Yeah, Allison Rosen is your new best friend.